Hi guys, welcome into Grand Slam Sports NFL segment here. My name is Samuel Gailey.
Charles Foster.
Jace Hodge.
So we're going to hop right into it. Everybody understands this concept about young players and sometimes their irresponsible choices off the field just because, sometimes money gets to people's heads, status gets to some people's heads. Jace, what do you got for us? Let's start off this thing.
So the Baltimore Ravens rookie receiver, Zay Flowers, was great all season long. He's now under investigation in connection to an alleged domestic assault. No charges yet. We don't know any other info other than that, but we know he's under investigation for domestic assault.
I mean, yeah, these are kind of those things in the league that we saw it with Ruggs, where he made his mistakes off the field, and we've seen it time and time again. I mean, it's a constant issue, and with now this investigation going on, this could be a massive blow for not only the Ravens but Zay Flowers and his life. So we'll see what kind of comes from that.
I think part of it is what aspect do you think money and status go to a young player's head in any sport? In football, I feel like you hear about it more, but we were talking about the Ja Morant and that gun charge, or I don't know if he was charged with that officially.
Yeah.
If not, but Charles and Jace, I guess, is kind of an open-ended question. Do you think that money and status gets to these young players quicker than others?
Absolutely. I mean, it's one of those things that we talk about with bias as well in the news industry. It's one of those things that people say I would never let the money get to me. That's a lie. It's very, very rare to see someone that genuinely does. They might keep it closeted, but things like money, like status, it gets to your head whether you keep it out there or not. It's something that it's going to make you feel better about yourself, and sometimes it can make you egotistical or make decisions that you would not make without it.
So obviously he hasn't been proven guilty or anything. So
right.
it's
This
the
is
fact
pure
of
speculation at this point.
Innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
Obviously, we hope that this isn't true in any way, shape, or form for Zay Flowers, because he is a great player for the Ravens. He's going to be a future star if he's able to
100%.
stay in the league and be a proper player in this league with the likes of Lamar Jackson as his quarterback.
Well, speaking of Lamar Jackson, we're going to move on to the awards. NFL awards got announced, and none other than Lamar Jackson wins MVP of the league. Jace, you surprised about that?
No, I mean, I think we all expected heading into the award ceremony that Lamar Jackson was going to win it. Do I believe he was the MVP this season? Not necessarily.
Why do you think that? Why do you think that?
I mean, you can look at stats all day long, and Lamar wasn't in the top category, the top categories for the stats for quarterbacks this season. Obviously, he had one of the bigger impacts on the squad of any quarterback, but stat-wise, he didn't do it all, such as Josh Allen, where he led his team from all the way back. I mean, they were in the dust almost. He led them all the way back up. I mean,
so who would have you selected? Who would have you selected? For that award?
I think I would have still selected Lamar Jackson. I think this is one of the worst MVP races we've seen in a minute, because not really any quarterback was a level ahead of anyone this year. I mean, we had a time where Brock Purdy was the favorite for a while, and honestly, Brock Purdy by stats may have been the MVP just based off his stats. But in my opinion, if I would have given it to any other player, I would have given it to Christian McCaffrey.
Do you agree with that, Charles?
He actually just segued into my point. You said it yourself. This is one of the worst MVP races we've seen in a while. And we were talking about the fact that not a lot of quarterbacks stood out, but I can think of a running back that did, a player offensively that did, and to me that was CMC. It's a quarterback award, though. It's one of those things where, you talk about in the NBA, whenever Jokic was one of the best players, he's not going to three-peat because, voters fatigue. When it comes to quarterbacks, it's always going to be likely going to them. When it comes to the best quarterback this year, it was Lamar Jackson. I think it was his award. He had the most impact, and he was the most valuable player for his team.
I agree. It just sucks that he can't finish this off once again with the Super Bowl appearance.
Both
times he won the MVP, he really didn't have that MVP impact in the playoffs. Yeah. So this is what we're going to categorize Lamar as a regular season quarterback right now because he can't prove it in the postseason.
I think Lamar still has a lot to show us. He definitely has a lot of time, and he's got a definite place in this league. To circle back around to the CMC topic, if you put CMC as MVP, who would you take as the offensive player of the year? Because we're talking about defensive player of the year, Myles Garrett, fantastic job in Cleveland. Love that Cleveland defense. Who would you guys take at offensive player of the year? CMC took it.
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, he almost. I mean, if you take away injuries from Tyreek, this man has a chance to break the record. Yeah. And I think that if fully healthy, plays every single game.
Him or CeeDee Lamb, one of those two.
I just feel like Tyreek had. I feel like if no one was doing it like Tyreek was. It was to the point where Tyreek Hill was like prophesized against. You'd go against him and just hope you can hold him for under 100.
Yeah.
And that's not something you see every single time with a receiver. Tyreek Hill, fully healthy, could have broken the record. He would have been my Opoy.
But obviously, I mean, these are all ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah.
But CMC was the Opoy this year.
Absolutely, not even a doubt in my mind.
I think I saw a stat through week 14. If you put CMC touchdown, started with $10, you'd make over $1 million.
Yeah.
If you kept doubling it every week.
It's ridiculous.
I think there was
And
one game he
that's-
didn't score all season.
Yep, there was one game he didn't score all season.
He was
so.
hurt that game too for most of it. Yeah.
I guarantee he was going to score at least once or twice Super Bowl, but we'll get into that.
Myles Garrett, again, defensive player.
This surprised me.
We're gonna run through this real quick because I really want to get to C.J. Stroud and the Rookie of the Year. But
Yeah.
quick, Jace's hot take on Myles Garrett.
I don't think he deserved Depoy this year. I think this is one of the biggest
Wow.
snubs we've ever seen.
Who you doing?
TJ Watt.
TJ Watt, what? The Steelers stunk.
Better stats than almost every category than Myles Garrett. I
That's
know, and the Browns they have a better overall defense, which leads to Garrett having more chances. I feel like Watt gets doubled more.
No, I'm actually. I think Sam is completely misinterpreting what
I
my
wanna
face
say.
is saying.
I think it's
Statistically, I'm gonna go out here and say this now. I had an argument about this last night. It was very fun. Statistically, T.J. Watt is Depoy. He
Yeah.
beat Myles Garrett in almost every
what I was saying.
single stat. However, Myles Garrett, if you want to talk about impact, the best defensive player, it has to go to Garrett. The man was getting
But what
double
did he do
teamed
the
on
last
almost
6
every
weeks?
single play.
He had like one sack the entire last 6 weeks.
Was getting double teamed, triple teamed. They made him do a lot more than most defenders have to do. He was running more run stopping and edge rushing compared to TJ Watt.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if it comes to being the best defender, it had to have gone to Myles Garrett. But if it was just a statistic award, TJ Watt deserved it. It can go either or. I
And
get why the
has
vote is
Watt
different.
won one yet? I don't think he has.
no, I don't think he is.
I don't think he has. I think he's been snubbed the last 2 years.
I mean, TJ Watt he's always going to make a case for it, just like his brother did. These guys are animals when it comes to it. There is no reason that TJ Watt should not. I feel like people that are saying that it's because he's on the Steelers, blah, 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 that's just wrong. I just feel like Myles Garrett is the more flashy guy. I mean, if you have two players
I mean,
that
you saw
have-
the Instagram reel of
Yeah.
him doing a crossover dribble and going the second.
If you have two guys that have very similar stats, it's going to be hard not to give it to the person that draws the most eyes, draws the most double teams, and was doing more on the field. So I know why Garrett won it, but I do think it was TJ Watt's to win.
TJ Watt, both great players, but we're going to talk about another player here, which sort of he became gradually through the season become a fantasy, actually crazy player. We're talking about C.J. Stroud and his rise to success, especially as a rookie quarterback. I'm going to take Jace's take, and then we're going to move on to the championship game. So, Jace, I know this is your boy. Take it away. I'll give you like 30,
My boy,
40 seconds.
the rival of the Colts,
Exactly,
my boy.
exactly. So that's why I'm doing this to you right now.
Well,
What do you
listen,
think of C.J. Stroud as a quarterback? Not even a
First
part
off,
of
the Texans, they swept the Rookie of the Year. They got Will Anderson
Like the
at
Jets
the
did last year.
Defensive Rookie of the Year. So back-to-back years, there's been sweeps from a team. So the Texans, they have one of the brightest futures, if not the brightest future in the NFL, in my opinion, because they have Tank Dell as well, also a rookie, who's also would have been up there on that O'Roy conversation if he didn't get injured. But Stroud, you know, I thought he'd be better coming out of college than a lot of people thought. Because, you know, he's the OSU quarterback, and we never see an OSU quarterback succeed in the league.
Fair.
But I knew that he'd be okay. I didn't know he'd be this good. He's already in that top 10, top 5 convo for quarterbacks in his rookie season.
Yeah.
I mean, he helped the Texans team that was 2-15 last season to a division championship and a divisional playoff game.
Yeah, it's very impressive. Especially, we'll get Charles' take here. We'll give you a good 30, 40 seconds before we talk about it. What do you think of C.J. Stroud as a quarterback?
I think he's going to be one of the better ones that we're going to see in a very long time. He is showing that he can be exactly what the draft class is supposed to have said about him. I mean, we've seen this very often whenever it comes to scouting reports, where they're just wrong. Zach Wilson is a prime example, where that second overall quarterback is super hyped up through college, but the second they get into the league, they crumble under pressure. And I wouldn't say this was Bryce Young's fault. Bryce Young, he struggled. We saw Anthony Richardson struggled staying healthy. And C.J. Stroud was just one of those quarterbacks that just like if you had never watched football before and you were watching a Texans game, you would think that he had been in the league for 5 to 10 years. He's very seasoned. He knows what he's doing, and he has a good team, a good coach behind him.
Yeah, I think his future is really bright, especially in this league. Definitely taking him in our fantasy draft next year.
No, I don't know about that. I think I'll get him first.
Oh yeah, Jace. Let's. I can change the draft order.
Oh well, look, see, this is what cheating. This is the cheating does.
I'll make sure to put you at 10th. Don't worry. Anyways, we're moving on to the game that's this Sunday, 6:30 primetime game. The only game we have the Swifties versus the world. Jace, who you got winning this game?
Go Charles first.
Charles first. Are you going to bet against Pat Mahomes in the Super Bowl?
I'm going to eat my words from the beginning of the season. Not beginning of the season, but beginning of the playoffs. I said that the Chiefs would not make it. I was wrong. However, I'm still taking the 49ers.
Is this just in spite of our producing assistant Kennedy's opinions of the Chiefs?
There's a thumbs down up there right now.
No, but we'll get into that later.
She's pointing at him right now. She's pointing at him right now.
I just genuinely believe that the Niners have the better team. I feel like when it comes to offensive, the potency of this offense, I mean, they're next level. If Brock Purdy can play safe, that's the biggest issue is, can Brock Purdy not force throws against one of the best secondaries in all of football?
Well, I wouldn't say the best secondary. That secondary is not as good as people think. They just blitz to compromise.
Yeah, but you saw McDuffie made the game-winning play pretty much with the
If Zay caught that ball and he extended it and he didn't punch it out, I think it was Snead. But if Snead didn't punch it out, that could have been an entirely different game.
McDuffie and Snead was already cornerback one coming into this year. McDuffie became that cornerback one. I don't remember if he was an All-Pro or if he was snubbed or not, but he should have been there no matter what. Yeah. He proved himself to be a top 5, top 10 cornerback in the league. On top of that was Snead, Justin Reed. This secondary is phenomenal.
The Chiefs have one of the most underrated defenses because a lot of people attribute the Chiefs winning to Patrick Mahomes, but this season it's been more of the defense and the run game with Pacheco.
The Chiefs did what the Ravens were supposed to do. Yeah. They outran them, a team that is good at running. They outdefended a team that was good at defense. I mean, the Chiefs came in and are looking exactly like the Ravens are supposed to be. However, they're not amazing against the run. CMC is going to have a hate.
I'm gonna eat my words here and apologize to Kennedy because I came out and sort of trash talk her team. I think we all did, saying the Ravens were absolutely the Ravens were absolutely going to stomp all over the Chiefs, Jace and I, and she's making a face because she's right. But I'm struggling to find an excuse of why Patrick Mahomes cannot find a way to win this game.
So you're picking the Chiefs?
I'm going to have to. I'm going to have to.
So I'm the deciding vote here.
Yeah, you're the deciding vote, Jace. Your opinion, go.
Well, first off, I want to pay respects to the Lions. Because
thought Charles and I are finally free of this Lions.
Listen. They made it farther than y'all thought they would.
Absolutely.
Of course. We just didn't want to talk about the Lions.
But you don't get to eat it too.
And
you
listen,
just get it.
They had that game in their hands. They threw it. They threw it away.
Yeah. They didn't kick 2 field goals.
Listen, I understand.
Kick the field goal. I could go out there, kick the field goal. Jace can go out there, kick the field goal.
He's the most aggressive coach in the league. I get why he did it. If you got those plays completed, they would have won that game.
Yep. Yeah, I agree.
No argument
100%.
there. But now going into the Super Bowl here with the Chiefs and the Niners, I mean, we saw this matchup, what was it, 3-4 years ago? Yeah. It's 2 entirely different squads than we saw back then. Yeah. These are 2 different teams.
There's 2 superpowers. You got the Chiefs that are in stride right now. Travis Kelce, I don't know how many receptions. I think 11 receptions, like 108 yards, something ridiculous.
Kelce didn't really do much all season until playoff time.
Well, he's their safety.
I don't know. Did Taylor Swift give him a kiss on the forehead and he turned into Jesus or something?
It's because Mahomes plays safer in the playoffs, and Kelce just does little 5-yard little routes, and he's open every
5-yard little routes.
I mean, how often do you see Kelce go past the 1-yard line on a field?
Well, no. What happens is Travis Kelce, like Gronkowski, is really good at sniffing out that zone coverage, finding that weak spot of the zone, turning, catching, running, and once Kelce's in motion, I mean, Charles, I don't even think you could tackle him when he's running full speed.
No.
Jason and I would just go and get a blanket and lay down.
But I can think of a person that could.
All right, Jason.
This is going to be a blowout.
Wow. Blowout of who?
San Fran's going to win this one by 20.
Oh my gosh, that's a hot take of it. That is crazy.
I really do believe that. San Fran has way more talent than Kansas City, and I think Kansas City will finally fall back down to earth to where they were in the regular season.
Wow.
I think San Fran will do a great job blanketing Travis Kelce all game long. CMC's going to have a big day, 100 yards and 2 touchdowns to his name to done this one. San Fran by 20.
Here's my.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
You know what this game reminds me of? The Buccaneers versus the Chiefs. Remember what happens whenever Mahomes gets assaulted? He's going against the best pressure in the NFL.
That's why I believe
he's going to struggle. I think the Niners as well.
I'm going to go Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Rashee Rice need to get going. Pacheco on that outside.
I can't wait until next week until you're wrong. I can't wait till you're wrong.
All right, well, we'll see.
And the Swifties finally lose.
The Swifties finally
Oh,
lose.
man, I'm praying
they
on the
asked
downfall.
Brock Purdy, are you ready to break Taylor Swift's heart? He said yes.
Brock Purdy is locked in.
Sunday.
Purdy's locked in.
Thank you for joining us here, Grand Slam Sports NFL segment.